She told me to stay.
Beautiful. Are you happy this way?
Yes, it's
Is that
much
you're sitting that way for the light, are you? You
yeah,
can't
for
go
the
that way?
light. Otherwise, when they're there.
You're happy?
Okay. Every time we talk. Next one.
Next one.
21. It's angry.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, we're good? We're good. Good morning, everybody. Just before we get the ceremony underway, just a short briefing. I think, first of all, on behalf of the college, I want to thank you all for your understanding and patience with regards to the COVID-related arrangements. It's presenting some challenges in terms of numbers of guests, protocols for gowning, etc. And so that has meant we're running about 5 minutes late, but we'll catch it up as we go. So I do want to thank you all for helping us with the COVID requirements. Before the academic procession enters the hall, now is a good time for phones to go to silent. Also, in terms of the safety things, I just need to let you know that there is no fire drill scheduled before the ceremony, but in the event that you hear a beep alert tone, you are required to stand, and in the case of we need to evacuate, you'll then be followed up by a whoop, 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 hopefully something a bit better than that, and it'll be the cue to evacuate. If that happens, please don't panic and just follow the instructions of the Town Hall fire wardens who will escort us safely from the building. Today is a very special day, graduations. It is your day, graduates, family, friends. So please feel free to congratulate the graduates as they make their way across the stage and to celebrate their achievements. We encourage you and welcome you taking photos. However, we do ask that you remain seated and keep the aisles clear so that the graduates can move smoothly. Just checking, I think that's the key aspect of the briefing. I'm going to now exit, line up the academic procession, and we will be in a couple of minutes to formally get this ceremony underway. So thank you, folks. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you, and please be seated, colleagues. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 2021 March graduation ceremony for the Australian College of Applied Psychology. My name is Dr. Andrew O'Brien, and I'm the campus manager for Melbourne, and I'm your Master of Ceremonies for this morning's proceedings. I would like to offer a special welcome to those watching the ceremony via live stream. COVID-19 has presented many challenges, and whilst we would love to have more family and friends in the room, we want to thank everyone who has supported our graduates, and we are pleased to be able to provide for online viewing for those unable to join us in the hall this morning. Before we begin the proceedings, I would like to acknowledge that we meet today on the traditional country of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people. I pay respect to Wurundjeri Woiwurrung elders, past, present and emerging, and recognise Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people as the traditional custodians of the lands and waters surrounding us. I would also like to pay respect to the elders, both past and present, of the Kulin Nation, and extend that respect to other Indigenous Australians present this morning. To begin our celebration, I'd like to invite our ACAP CEO, Mr. George Garrett, to officially welcome our distinguished guests, graduates, families and friends, academic and professional staff. George.
Thank you, Andrew. Esteemed guests, colleagues, graduands, family and friends, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this wonderful occasion in the life of our graduands. Today represents the culmination of great commitment, effort and dedication by each graduate sitting here before you, the achievement of which all of you should be immensely proud. To the graduands, whilst this is your day and your achievement, I want you to remember those who have helped you along the way. Your family, your friends, your ACAP educators, your ACAP staff. To our many wonderful academic staff and educators, thank you for all that you have done to educate and open the minds of our graduands. To the library teams, to the sales and admission staff, to the marketing team, to our accessibility staff, to the student learning support team, to the IT team, to campus managers, to student engagement teams, to our placement staff, and to the many often unseen people in the various administrative functions who helped our graduands reach this day, I want to thank you. I hope that you have made connections. I hope you have connected with your educator, with your professor, with your ACAP staff, to your industry and to your fellow graduands here today. Connections are very powerful in life. They can open doors, they can help with a problem, they can refer a client, and they can keep you grounded. For me, I had the fortune of forming a long connection with this college well before I started working here. My connection is that my mother sat where you are 20 years ago. She's a graduate of ACAP as well. You never know where and when a connection will help you. So I've asked you to remember those who've helped you along your learning journey, and I've asked you to make connections, 2 additional skills on top of everything that you have learnt. After today, I'm proud to call you alumni. I ask you to stay connected with your college, share your stories as you continue to achieve. Best of luck in your chosen career, profession, practice, project, or adventure. Thank you.
Thank you, George. And now on to the conferring of awards in the discipline of counselling. Today's ceremony is one of the most ancient ceremonies of higher education. It is the formal presentation of candidates by the faculty, represented by a leading academic, to the chair of the academic board, representing the authority of the institution to confer the awards. I now invite Associate Professor Vicky Hutton, our Melbourne Campus Counselling Discipline Lead, to present the graduates to Dr. Craig Ellis, the ACAP Dean, representing the chair of the academic board.
Dr. Ellis, I present to you candidates for the Diploma of Counselling. Christy Jarman. Dr. Ellis, I present to you candidates for the Diploma of Counselling Skills. Jessica Bowes. Dayanara Brain. Daniela Vojvodic. Anna Simone Youssef. Dr. Ellis, I present to you candidates for the Associate Degree of Applied Social Science. Amanda Birchall. Lynette Burrows. Dr. Ellis, I present to you candidates for the Associate Degree of Counselling Skills. Melanie Brehart. Jennifer Diancono. Dr. Ellis, I present to you candidates for the Bachelor of Applied Social Science. Raphael Dabu. Jiwanthi Jaganchandra. Kelly King. Jennifer Scott. Martina Smith. Alexandra Tiliganis. Dr. Ellis, I present to you candidates for the Bachelor of Counselling. Hayley Barnsley. Demetra Borg. Geetha Chetty. Jodie Clover. Hayden Cook. Lucy Dalfara. Tamara Diab. Christine Dutoit. Sophie Gardner. Tanya Golden. Shayla Heath. Rebecca Herrick. Theodora Canliris. Spiro Katiforis. Amanda Labria. Annalise Morrow. Desanka Orovich. Vicky Osborne. Patricia Pallett. Damien Pannett. Sarah Palucci. Zara Poole. Emily Preeb. Cassie Roberts. Karishma Sharma. Lorraine Sullivan. Dana Swan. Brianne Taylor. Laura Todd. Meredith Torpy. Tracy Yeoman. Dr. Ellis, I present to you candidate for the Bachelor of Counselling Coaching, Christina Maroon. Dr. Ellis, I present to you candidate for the Graduate Certificate of Wellbeing in Schools, Tara Weiss. Dr. Ellis, I present to you candidates for the Graduate Diploma of Counselling, Patricia Arsery. Brett Bailey. Bernadette Bannister. Chiquita Bonin. Cheryl Brown. Vincent Clementine. Laura Dolan. Mariam Hafiz. Damon Hands. Ursa Jensen. Cara John. Shidi Karima. Myla Lopez. Lucy McCullough. John McNamara. Kim Norris. Alison Ozan. Sa San Jose. Amanda Smerling. Christopher Wade. Nyanki Wirapas. Robert Weller. Elise Zijai. Dr. Ellis, I present to you candidates for the Master of Counselling and Psychotherapy. Chantel Andrades. Kimberlyn D'Souza. Bonnie Hall. Michael Hamer. Catherine Maguire. Francesca Palazzolo. Matthew Raker. Monique Rizzo. Vanessa Rolfe. Jessica Russian. Mariono Taboni. Katrina Wong.
Thank you, Associate Professor Hutton. Congratulations to all our graduates. I now invite Dr. Ellis, our ACAP Dean, to deliver the charge to graduates. Would all graduates please stand?
Well, good morning. Today, you stand before this assembly to be acknowledged as joining the ranks of your scholarly peers. In today's ceremony, you have been clothed in the symbols of scholarship, your cap, gown, and parchment, to indicate to the wider community of scholars and to the public at large that you have reached the completion of your studies with us. As ACAP graduates, we charge you with the mission to seek out your place in the human services industries and pursue meaningful, sustainable, and successful career. You do us proud to succeed in your studies, and through this public acknowledgement of your achievement, we send you forward as graduates and as ACAP alumni. Honoured guests, colleagues, family and friends, I present to you our newest ACAP graduates.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis. Graduates, please be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce and welcome our occasional speaker for today's ceremony. Please join me as I welcome Dr. Kate Burrell. Dr. Kate Burrell is a clinical and forensic psychologist with over 25 years of applied experience and a career that centres around people and their well-being. Her early career was in community mental health and private practice, with Kate moving to Melbourne a decade ago to co-found Street. This Melbourne-based social enterprise provides holistic, tailored support and vocational training to young people who are marginalised or disadvantaged. Street has worked intensively with over 500 young people to date. In addition to Street, Kate completed an internationally award-winning PhD about violent extremism. Her research involved interviews with former radicals about disengagement from extremism and their subsequent societal reintegration. Kate was an expert witness at the Martin Place Coronial Inquiry and sits on various government and community advisory boards on this topic. Through Street, Kate continues to provide consultancy advice regarding the reintegration and rehabilitation of at-risk youth, and including those radicalising towards violent extremism. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Kate Burrell.
Hello, thank you very much for that introduction. I would just like to acknowledge the traditional owners myself of the land on which we gather, their elders, past, present and emerging, and the other Aboriginal people here today, and elders from other communities as well. Every time I think about acknowledgement of country, I think about hope and bravery, and that's kind of the theme for what I'd like to talk to the graduates today about as well. Congratulations, you're awesome, well done. Your achievement today is the end result of so much hard work, I know. Commitment, hope, tears probably. In the last year particularly, this last year has been really hard for everybody. It's been hard even for those of us lucky enough to have a warm house and people that love us, and food and warmth. But there's lots of people who don't have that, and it's been a particularly hard year for them. And 2021 will probably be a hard year again. So I think it's got to be said that it's particularly well done to maintain your focus through a year like that, when you're in this profession because you have big hearts and you can see people hurting, and yet you stayed the course to finish what you can do so that you can go out into the world now and do it. I think we give a special shout out to parents, partners, pets, friends, pot plants, and ACAP for helping you get through as well. To see you here today, poised, ready to go out in the world with your hard-learnt skills and your passion is really exciting for me. It feels like the reinforcements have arrived. It feels like, and I promise not to talk about Star Wars too much, but I have a 13-year-old son, so we have Star Wars on high rotation. But it feels like that scene at the climax of episode 9, where Poe is taking on the First Order, and it's hopeless. He's about to be completely overwhelmed, annihilated, and then suddenly the fleet comes, the rebellion, the passionate rebellion forces come. I get excited thinking about what is next for you. Some of you will have a clear idea of what you're going to do next, and some of you probably won't really have any idea, and that's okay. Either of those can be terrifying. Just take a deep breath, relax, have faith in yourself, and take the next step, whatever that is. As long as you're making a difference, you're contributing. And there are so many ways you can do this. Since I was a baby psychologist 30 years ago, I've bounced around in so many different fields. I learnt so many good things from the social work supervisors I had at the time in a multidisciplinary team. I worked in community mental health counselling, in the adoption and foster care unit. That was a lot to learn there. I worked at Kenmore Psychiatric Hospital outside of Goulburn before they closed down the institutions. And I saw some awful things and some wonderful hope and bravery there as well. I worked as a forensic and clinical psych in private practice. I work in the crisis assessment teams, in an EAP, and in the counter-terrorism team at Foreign Affairs and Trade. There are so many different ways you can make a difference. This makes it sound like I'm a little ADD. This is over 30 years, so it's not that I have such a short attention span. Call me slow, but it took me a while to realise that we can only love or kill each other as humans if we have a planet that survives as well. So yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of Street, the social enterprise my amazing wife, Beck Scott, and I set up 10 years ago. We provide supported training and employment pathways for marginalised young people into employment in horticulture and hospitality. And we're really passionate about ecological well-being as well as human well-being. Finding the right level for you to make a difference is really important. And there's no right answer and there's no wrong answer. It's only the right thing for you, and that will change over time as well. For me, Street's the perfect vehicle because in a social enterprise such as that, we can make a difference indirectly and directly. We can make social impact, environmental impact. We can do this in an extensive system whilst maintaining deep connection at the ground level of the people on the planet that we service. My day-to-day role is looking after our youth programs, overseeing our therapy dog. I saw another service dog here today. They do amazing work. And designing programs for positive behaviour change and social impact. When I was at uni, and I did a few rounds at uni, I learnt so much about theories and models and knowledge and evidence-based best practice, and I made some amazing friends like you would have. But I learnt about myself in the field, And that's the bit I get excited for you. You're just beginning. You're just going to go out and discover the type of person, the type of professional, the type of practitioner that you are. And you learn that from your peers and from your supervisors out in the field, from those experiences. Life makes sense looking backwards, but you've got to live it forwards. Yeah. The secret to any journey, I think, is not worrying too much about the destination, but just making sure that each part along the way is true to who you are. If hope and bravery and kindness are your travel companions, then you can cross any terrain. And sometimes this type of work, this type of terrain is difficult. Okay? You've chosen deliberately to work with people, and people are complicated. The best and the worst of humanity is inside every single person, including ourselves. And so it comes down to the tiny choices every day that people make. And whatever role you're in, whether you're coaching or counselling or as a psychologist, whether you're influencing, whether you're explaining, you will be working with people, shining a light on these tiny steps so that they can make a different decision for themselves going forward. So today, you're probably a mix of tired, I imagine, excited, maybe a little bit scared about what comes next, but hopefully there's more hope and excitement in that mix there. You're coming into this profession at a particular time, I think, where the world is unjust and it's a bit fragile and things are changing. There's a climate emergency. There's really big subterranean shifts going on, I think, in social power dynamics. But it's also bursting. It's bursting at the seams with possibility for a fair and a just and a regenerative future for the planet and for people. So there's an infinite number of possibilities about what you can do out there. You are the rebel fleet, and no matter what you do, you're going to use your powers for good. I know that much. So I'm going to finish just with 3 quick quotes, and I promise none of them are from Star Wars. The first one is from one of our trainees at Street. She was a 19-year-old single mum, and she had lived experiences that nobody should have. When she finished our 6-month program, she was the first person ever in her family to get a job or to complete any kind of certificate. And she got a certificate too in hospitality with us. In talking about the program, she was grateful for the skills and for the job and the certificate, but there were other things that she valued more. She said to me, "It changed my life. You gave me back hope in the world and hope in myself. You believed in me before I believed in myself." That's the kind of powerful stuff that you're going to go on and do. We've worked intensively with over 500 young people at Street in the last decade, and the mother of one of our graduates wrote us a letter. And I'll call the young man Jack, and this is the letter his mother wrote. She said, "Dear Street team, I just wanted to thank you for yesterday's graduation ceremony." It wasn't quite as big as this. It was really wonderful, such an achievement for all the graduates. For Jack, this is the first course he has completed since being exited from school at the end of Year 10 with deteriorating mental health. The last 7 years have been pretty tough for Jack in many ways, but last year proved to be perhaps the toughest year after an unexpected death of a close friend, which saw Jack contemplating suicide and at one point requiring hospitalisation to prevent him from acting out on those feelings. I truly believe that without the opportunity presented to Jack by Street in the weeks after discharge from hospital, he'd be in a very different place now. It's opened up a new world in which he can see himself flourishing and creating a future. I mean it sincerely when I say Street saved his life. This is no small feat, to feel connected, to belong, to believe in himself and have the confidence to try new things, to develop new relationships and dream of the future. Immense gifts to be offered. The work you do is life-changing, and not just for the graduates, but for the people that love them. Thanks again. Kind regards, Jack's mum. Like, imagine getting a letter like that. This is what keeps you going in your career. It's extraordinary stuff. And then finally, Barack Obama, personal hero, talking on hope. He said, "Hope is not blind optimism. It's not ignoring the enormity of the task ahead or the roadblocks that stand in our path. It's not sitting on the sidelines or shirking from a fight. Hope is that thing inside us that insists, despite all the evidence to the contrary, that something better awaits us if we have the courage to reach for it, to work for it, and to fight for it. Hope is the belief that destiny will not be written for us, but by us, by the men and women who are not content to settle for the world as it is, who have the courage to remake the world as it should be. Today you're graduates, but you're also change makers. So may your journey be equal parts hope, bravery, and kindness."
Thank you, Dr. Burrell, for a wonderful speech and your contribution to today's ceremony. And I think Emma has presented you a small token of our gratitude. Thank you very much. ACAP recognises student academic achievement and through the award of various certificates, prizes and medals. I invite our Melbourne campus academic manager, Dr. Louise Raffield, to present the award recipients who are present at this ceremony to Dr. Ellis.
Good morning, everyone. For each graduating cohort of a higher education course, we acknowledge the graduate with the highest grade point average, who is the dux of their course. Dr. Ellis, I present to you the following Student Excellent Awards recipients. Bachelor of Counselling, Dux, March 2020, Dana Swan. Bachelor of Counselling with Merit, March 2021, Amanda Labria.
Thank you, Dr. Ellis and Dr. Raffield. Now, on behalf of our ACAP graduates, I'd like to invite Dana Swan back onto the stage to deliver the address on behalf of the graduates.
Okay. Took me a little bit longer than I'm used to get upstairs. Good morning, fellow graduates, and good morning to all the staff, family, friends, and other support persons who have gathered here with us today as we celebrate this truly momentous occasion. It feels almost surreal to be standing here with you all today, and I think I can speak for all of us when I say that today feels far bigger than originally expected after surviving not just our studies, but an entire year like no other. But here we are, on the other side of so many highs and lows, with heads held high as we now turn boldly toward our future. The time I've spent studying with ACAP has provided me with so much more than just a degree. This study experience has enriched all areas of life, from lifelong friendships to opportunities for tremendous growth to an expansion of both heart and mind that has far surpassed all expectations. I'll never forget the victories and challenges we have shared over the years, such as the collective freakouts the first time we were told we had to submit a filmed counseling session, which later transformed into demands for even more time as we lamented at not being able to go deep enough into a session during a mere 20-minute allocation. The incredible respect and openness underpinning all conversations that would flow during classes, where opposing concepts, values, and ideas came together to be exchanged and form new perspectives and deeper empathy. The sentence, "Yeah, but a credit from Nigel is like a high distinction from any other lecturer, so you're good," being used by at least one student per semester, per term. And finally, watching as so many of us came into this degree with the vague yet impassioned goal of simply desiring to help, and witnessing those goals transform into masterfully refined areas of expertise and becoming the change makers you see before you now. Change makers in a world that is crying out for the helpers now more than ever, leading with compassion always. Of course, none of the above would be possible without the support of the many individuals that have supported myself and my fellow classmates over the years. Thank you to the teachers who each brought their own unique flair to every class, always going above and beyond to take sometimes very abstract concepts and break them down into tangible and practical lessons to be carried both into the counseling room and through life, and for giving up your personal time after hours to sit with us as we offered up seemingly endless cycles of question after question after question. Thank you to the rest of the ACAP staff who always worked hard to ensure that our time on campus ran as smoothly as possible, whether in the library, on the phones, maintaining the campus, or through administrative duties. Thank you to each and every loved one, both within my circle and the circles of my fellow students, for wiping away our tears before looming assignment deadlines, for encouraging us to keep moving forward when we felt like giving up, for editing papers with fresh eyes when ours were too strained from staring into computer screens, and for putting up with pizza night yet again because there's just too much work to be done. You have all supported us to do something that not many get to do, to follow our passion and create lives full of purpose and meaning, and to pay this forward by supporting others to now do the same. I cannot thank you enough for this gift of support you have given, and I hope you are all just as proud of my fellow classmates as I am of them today and always. I also want to thank you, my fellow classmates, for coming together alongside me and each other to create a community like none other, a community full of beautifully diverse individuals who are committed to being in the trenches not only with each other, but also with those who we continue to uplift and support in their time of need. In the time since we finished our studies at ACAP, I've already watched many of you flourish as your careers take flight, and I felt truly uplifted by you as my career has done the same. Already, we have collaborated on projects and exchanged ideas. We have compared many notes on our postgraduate education streams and strengthened our professional referral networks by adding each other's practices and workplaces to our contacts. We have been each other's listening ear and shoulder to cry on during a year that has tested us not just as people, but as professionals working on the front lines of a pandemic-associated mental health crisis. As the future continues to unfurl itself to us, and we continue to grow even more, I cannot help but feel a sense of excitement. Excitement for the love and compassion which also continues to grow within us. Excitement for that loving compassion to continue to radiate outward through this deep work and profoundly humbling journey that we have embarked upon. This work is not for the faint of heart, and you are all so brave. I'm so proud of us, and I'm so grateful for this community. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And now, will my fellow graduates please join me in acknowledging yourselves, each other, and all of the people who have supported our journey here today with a big round of applause. Thank you.
On behalf of all of us here today, Dana, thank you very much for a wonderful contribution. Without doubt, it's always my favourite part of the ceremony, and it's always quite special. So, Em, on behalf, would you mind please handing over the flowers? Thank you. Well, we are almost at the conclusion of the formal proceedings for today. I would like to thank our distinguished guests, academic staff, professional staff, all those working behind the scenes to make the ceremony possible, so thank you. It's been particularly challenging over the past 12 months or so in terms of will and when and how will we have a graduation. So we do appreciate the people who've made today possible. For those graduates who have already had photographs taken, once you are done with any more you might want to do, could you please return your regalia and depart. For those still wanting to get photos, if you could, once we conclude the ceremony, please head back to the line and ensure your photos are done. In terms of our COVID requirements, we do need all regalia to be returned just before midday. Once again, on behalf of the college, congratulations to each and every graduate, to families and friends. Thank you for making this day a very special occasion. We do focus on our graduates, but before I do close the ceremony, I wanted to just make a special thanks from my perspective to the families, friends, colleagues, supporters. The challenge of studying and graduating is immense, but the love, support, the sacrifice, the care, all that goes with supporting somebody to go through is as equal, if not more of a challenge. And so we, on behalf of the graduates, I would like to just extend my thank you to all that you have done in supporting them. So at this point, I would ask you please to stand for the academic recession, followed by, so the academics will follow out, followed by our new graduates to conclude the ceremony.